Neurotic Neurologist
is a 1 to 2 player game in which you play a neurologist trying to treat patients with neurological conditions and arrange patients efficiently in your hospital in order to score the most dopamine points. It's a tableu-building puzzle with some elements of push your luck. Each of the 18 cards has 2 uses. In the middle is the patient portion of the card, which describes the patient's condition and disease type. The number indicates disease severity, and the sides of the card represent the pharmacy function. There are 3 disease types in the game, including seizure, stroke, and inflammation. To set up the game, simply shuffle the deck and place 2 cards face up to represent the emergency room. On each turn, you will draw a card from the deck and place a card in your neurology ward. You can either place the card that you drew, or you can trade it out for another card in your emergency room. When placing a card, you can either place it as a patient or a treatment. The first card that you place is the initial patient, and the row that follows them is the main neurology floor. As the game proceeds, you can add patients to the right of, above, or below the initial patient, but never to the left of them since they're located at the far edge of the hospital. All new patients must be adjacent to an existing patient, and their disease severity dictates how they can be placed. To add a patient to the right of or above an existing patient, its disease severity must be greater than the patients in that row or column. To add a patient to the left of or below an existing patient, its disease severity must be less than that of the patients in that row or column. Continue taking turns until you go through the whole deck, and then it's time to count up your dopamine points. You score the most points equal to disease severity for the treated patients in your main neurology floor. You also score some points for each patient in your biggest continuous group for each disease category. Finally, you get penalized for neglecting to treat patients, transferring patients, or placing patients in a way that they're isolated. At the end of the game, you will have built a beautiful and convoluted neurology wing, which will be different every game. The base game is a satisfying puzzle with a lot of replayability due to the randomness of the cards, where you find yourself trying to rise to the challenge of optimizing points within the constraints of the rules. The 2-player game plays very similar to the solo mode, with each player building their own neurology wing and competing as dueling neurologists. It feels like a very tight and quick battle of wits that's over before it started and makes you want to keep coming back for more. In addition, there is a family-friendly variant, which is perfect for kids who are interested in medicine or science. There are also some unfriendly variants to make the game more challenging. And finally, there is a handheld solo mini-game called Neurogo, which you can play entirely in the palm of your hand using the sides of the cards. Research has shown that if you play Neurogo while riding the train, strangers will think you're really cool and will want to be your friend.
And that's Neurotic Neurologist. Thanks.